Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back. I hope that you are all well. This is where I talk about the books that I'm reading and that I like to read. I like to read diverse books and I highlight Canadian literature. If you are new, thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today I am finally getting back to doing another Tuesdays with Toni video. Which is the reading project that I started with my friend AJ from AJ Dunn. So long ago. This project should have been done like a year ago, I think, and I have now actually finished reading the books, but I still have the last three videos to put out. So here we are. Okay, so AJ and I read all of Toni Morrison's novels in publication order, and I am currently at Toni Morrison's novel A Mercy, which was published in 2008. And I will leave a link to our introduction videos along with the playlist in the description box below so that you can check it out and see all of the past videos that we've done from the beginning. So this, A Mercy, was the 9th book. The last 4 books before this, to me, were all about love. The Beloved trilogy and the novel called Love. And I guess in some ways, you know, we could say that all of Morrison's books are about love in a way, A Mercy included. Mainly, it could be about a mother's love and sacrifice, and it takes place in the 1680s, and it focuses on slavery at that time. In an interview that I watched, which I will link below, I'm pretty sure I still have that link, Morrison talks about setting the story that early because she wanted to separate slavery and race. So, like other Morrison novels, there are many layers to this story, and it focuses on some really heavy topics. It looks at relationships between mothers and daughters, relationships between women with other women, and relationships between the colonizer and the colonized, and then also the free and the enslaved. And there is also a religious vibe, which I would say begins with Jacob and his wife Rebecca, which are both very biblical names, and they are the farmers and landowners. So there's a lot of opinions in this book about Baptists and Catholics and how the different beliefs play a role in the culture and understanding of slavery. So the characters, I think, are all very intriguing. This is very much a character-driven novel. It is not really plot-driven, like not a lot happens, and the story is basically told in alternating perspectives. So you get parts of the story told several times. Jacob, the landowner, he's actually a pretty decent guy. You know, he's against slavery, colonization, and he seems to respect the land and, you know, its original peoples. However, he ends up buying a little girl named Florence when her mother offers her up in exchange for herself. So Florence doesn't understand this and why her mother would do this, and she believes that her mother has abandoned her. And then Jacob also has an internal struggle of wanting to be successful, but not to do it in a conventional way. And as he becomes richer, he starts building a bigger house. And Jacob and his wife also have servants. So there's Lena, who is an Indigenous woman, and she brings Indigenous culture and lessons into the story. And then there's Sorrow, who has mental disabilities. And Jacob has basically, he has these women as their servants because he took them in a way, he, you know, took pity on them. He has a soft spot for the underdog. And in some ways the characters are part of a found family, and yet they are also very different and distinct. And the story is told from these different perspectives, but Floren's story is told in first person. She's the young girl that Jacob buys. So the story doesn't really move quickly at all, and it doesn't seem to like take over too much time, although you're aware of things that have happened in the past. But there are a lot of historical events that are important, I would say, to the story as well, like smallpox, which begins basically killing people off, including Jacob. And then when Rebecca, his wife, comes down with the disease, she sends Florence on a journey, which is an important piece to the story. And she's supposed to go find the man that she thinks can heal Rebecca. And this is the blacksmith who Florence had fallen in love with. And he seems to be some kind of healer. So this journey and what is happening back at the house is what makes up most of the novel. Like, you're inside people's heads for the most part. We get the perspectives of Floren, Jacob, Rebecca, Lena, some of the neighbors, and then in the end, Floren's mother, which is, supposed to bring everything together and explain why she makes the sacrifice that she does. It's kind of strange in a way. This book isn't even 200 pages, and like not a lot happens, but at the same time, it's about so much. And I mentioned earlier that there's, a lot of layers to it, and maybe by layers, I really mean that there's a lot of depth to it. Also, like many of Morrison's other books, I think that you could really pull this apart and continue to find, some hidden mysteries. There is some really interesting symbolism, and I did think that it was interesting how she brought the indigenous culture into this story as well. So each character really did have a purpose and was bringing something unique to the story. So this leaves the last 2 books for me to do videos on, and my hope is to have those done this month. And next week I will be talking about Home, which was published in 2012, so 4 years after A Mercy. And a lot happened in those 4 years for Toni Morrison, so we will talk about that too. Please let me know if you have read A Mercy by Toni Morrison. What did you think? Without giving away any spoilers, what were your thoughts about the writing and the characters and the story? I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.